Hello, this is TKC here with some local tournament footage here. Unfortunately, this is not me in the first round. This is HoodedMan on the left, or Joao, and I don't remember the guy's name on the right, but it's his opponent on the right. On the left, we have kind of like a Cobalt control kind of thing, light, water, dark. And on the right, we have a guy who bought the Sonic Blast deck, but bought a lot of Dragon Strike, so he kind of like splashed in some Dragon Strike in there. So, as you can see here, let's see, we got HoodedMan on the left with a Chasm, and the guy on the right with an Umbra. So, yeah, very interesting. Now, if you see in the mana on the left, he put a Bottle of Wishes into mana, yeah, that's right. And he played Aqua Seneschal. So he's running Bottle in his Cobalt control deck, which is kind of interesting. But at the same time, you know, it's not the biggest deal if you hit Cobalt, because then you just get into your hand and you could evolve the Chasm right there. So it's not a big deal. He's running Return from Beyond, so he puts that in mana, and he uses Crystal Memory to search something, which I doubt he's going to show to the camera, but yeah. I'm assuming he searched Cobalt there, because that's kind of like the obvious thing to do. And then on the right, we have Umbra and Nyx on the field, which is looking very similar to the deck I played, but I don't think he played the same deck. He would have had to have a lot of dragons, and I don't think he does have a lot of dragons, but I may be wrong. He also has Bottle in his mana too, so maybe I'm just totally off, and maybe he got a deck passed to him. All I know is I saw him buy a Sonic Blast deck, so maybe he just needed the Dark Scared Orbital or something. But yeah. So he puts Trial and Error into mana and summons, what's it called again? Tooth Grubbling, I think it's called. It's the 3/3 Rotworm Vanilla. So I'm kind of assuming he's running the Rotworm Evo in here too, I guess. I'm starting to believe that his whole deck is just like Dragon Strike Infernus now. Now I'm just kind of confused. So he played Keeper of Dawn. I believe he got back the Crystal Memory. Yeah, it's in his hand over there. And you see the Cobalt. Yeah, it was kind of obvious that he got the Cobalt there. And then he attacked with Seneschal to draw. And hit a shield, of course. I think that's a Bone Rattle Dragon in his mana on the right. I think so. And he also put Dendrite. So this is strange. I think he's just running Blurple, Dragon Strike Infernus Edition. He's got the Rotworm Slayer right there. Bam. So what is he going to do now? Will he attack the Seneschal with the Worm? Indeed he does. And he actually goes and he blocks with the Chasm. I'm honestly very surprised there, considering he has a Cobalt. I don't know why you would block there. You could afford to lose a Seneschal, considering you have like a lot of cards in hand, but I don't know. It's an interesting play. So he plays Puppet. I couldn't quite see his hand there. He dropped a water card. I don't really know what he dropped. So he attacks the Seneschal again. So I guess he really wants the advantage. He figures that, oh, I guess I have tons of Enforcers in the deck. I'm going to draw another one eventually. So he goes ahead and keeps the Seneschal and keeps on attacking and drawing cards. So it's kind of interesting because like now he's gonna lose the Seneschal right now. Like I just said right now twice. Whoops. What did he just play there? I think that's a Grudge Weaver, and he played another Umbra. So his dragons cost 3 less, and if he plays a dragon, he draws one, and it has Slayer, or double Slayer if you will, because he has 2 Umbras. But it doesn't work that way. So I guess he was just asking if they stack, and of course they do. That's why the fibers are so great. So there goes the Seneschal, finally. And he's thinking about attacking with his birds, but he just passes because his creatures are pretty big. The Puppet and the Keeper of Dawn. They could easily get rid of the birds. Of course, he could have attacked with just one, and then just block with his Grudge Weaver, and it would have gotten Drow to discard a card in his hand, so that would have been pretty good. But anyway. So now, HoodedMan on the left, thinking, what is he going to do? He's probably thinking, why don't I have my Chasm? I could have played Cobalt now and start attacking and stuff. Or maybe just not thinking about that. So he has 7 mana, and he just decides to play a Squeaky. I think he has a Seneschal in hand, but he doesn't want to overcommit. But the thing is, he's playing against Blurple. It doesn't really matter if you do overcommit, because they don't have Barrage or Dragon's Breath or anything, or even Stormspark Blast. So I don't see why he could have just played the Seneschal, but maybe he needs the mana. I don't know. Now he's starting to hit shields, so he probably should have played the Seneschal. I don't know. He does have Grudge Weaver, so there's that too.
Non, return, c'est je ramène quelqu'un. Ah, ok, c'est bon.
Okay, he thought it was Bone Blades. It's not Bone Blades. So he returned from beyond. Okay, oh, I see what's going on. Okay, so he got the Chasm. So now he's setting up for Cobalt again. And I think he can play Cobalt now because that return was from Shields. Maybe he just didn't even get Cobalt. I don't even know at this point. I don't see where his Cobalt is. Unless it's that second card on the left, I have no idea. I see Seneschal, Spark Cage, and Stormspark Blast. And he just cast Stormspark Blast, which is brutal. He also has Keeper of Clouds in his hand there. Okay, so maybe it was Keeper of Clouds. It's not Spark Cage. Oh, is the other one Bottle? Is that Bottle on the second card? I have no idea. So now he's popping cards left and right. He gets rid of all the birds, basically. And that's all he can do. So yeah, the guy on the right is just running Dragon Strike, Infernus, only Blurple, which is a very interesting combination, I have to say. He plays Dreadclaw, but he has no dragons, and he could have he could have drew one, and would have Slayer, and he would have only had to pay 4, but of course Stormspark Blast got rid of all his birds. So the Warrior is going to go in for another 2, because he figures that's probably the only way he can win right now. He has the Bone Blades, which gets rid of Grudge Weaver, which is pretty huge. Wait, what's going on here?
Attends, c'est moi ou non, c'est moi qui fais une carte.
Non, non, c'est ça, toi tu
Ma bad.
tu bannis, ben pas banni, mais tu...
Je peux te faire dans ma main.
I'm not sure what happened there. I think what happened is he like discarded or some. I have no idea what happened there, but Joao had to discard, so he did. He got a Halon and a Chasm, so he could just play the Chasm and evolve Halon, and he'll have a fast attack double breaker going on there. But who knows if he'll go ahead and do that. Just thinking. I believe he still has a Seneschal on hand. Yeah, he does. Okay, so he plays the Halon and then he plays Seneschal. Yeah, I guess that's fair. The thing is, he only has a Dreadclaw on the field. Yeah, I guess that's okay. I mean, he can't win. He only has 1 creature on the field. He has no fast attack. I mean, if he had 1 card in hand, that play would have been pretty scary. Well, I mean, considering his deck is Dragon Strike only, it doesn't matter. But he could have done like Cyber Sprite Dendrite, but of course, I don't think he runs Cyber Sprites because he just runs Dragon Strike cards, which is very strange. But he got rid of all the shields at the very least, and he also got a Bone Rattle on the field, which is pretty hilarious. But now if you look at HoodedMan's field on the left, he's got tons of creatures, and they all could attack, even the Squeaky, and that's, I believe, 6 shields right there. And he's only got 3, and considering he's only using Dragon Strike, the only cards he can possibly have down there are Bottle and Devouring Smog. So there really isn't too much to be worried about here. So I'd be surprised if he didn't go all out. He actually goes and plays the Bottle because he's like, why not? Let's go get the Bottle. Let's see what I get. Nothing is really going to be useful here. I mean, Pit, I guess, just in case anything happens. Just in case those 3 shields are 3 Terror Pits, but he's not running Terror Pit, I don't think. So he gets another Squeaky, which is actually really good for him. So now he's going to go in with Halon. And he attacks the Bone Rattle. I don't see the point of that. He passes. I'm honestly very confused right now. I guess he just wants to be sure. Yeah, I guess. I mean, if there are 3 Devouring Smogs, he would have lost, but... Or not even. No, I mean, he could have just got rid of his creatures that he played the same turn. I don't know. Okay, that was interesting. Well, now he has a blocker, and it's a mana warden, which means if he has any more in the deck, he could just keep on playing that. So I honestly have no idea what that was all about. Okay, I got Blinder Beetle, so he just taps the blocker, and now he can just go for game. If he doesn't go for game, I'd be really confused. But now he gets rid of the Bone Rattle. And the mana warden, but then he just searches for another one. He didn't search. Why didn't he search? I don't know what's going on right now. This game is honestly very confusing at this point. Hooded Man could have basically won 2 turns ago. Or, well, not 2 turns ago. Last turn. What? He's passing... Okay, well, I guess Zhao's being very, very, very careful. I can't blame him. I do that quite a bit as well. Also, I find it funny how he has his Seneschal and his Razor Kinder tapped to the right, and he has his Halon tapped to the left. Sometimes you just can't decide which way you want to tap your cards. I don't know if I've ever done that, like one left, one right. I know, like, occasionally I switch, maybe, sometimes, but... like, at the same time on the same turn, it's kind of funny. Alright, well, now he's just kind of playing trial and error just to dig for something, but... I don't think there's much he could really get. I think I see a Dragon of Reflections. I'm not entirely positive. Did he discard yet? I don't think... Oh yeah, he discarded. If he has 3 in hand, then he discarded. And he's like, well, I can't do anything. Fumes just because he can. And whatever, it doesn't matter what the shield is. Alright, now it's just kind of... Okay, Texas says it doesn't even matter. Okay, you just wanted to make the right play, I guess, but it didn't really matter. Alright, so we're going to game 2. Yeah, so we're shuffling up right now. I think that game took way longer than it should have. It probably should have been done like 2 turns earlier at the very least. Yeah. What's he doing right now? The guy was about to riffle shuffle, and then he starts to look at his cards like, ooh, they're so pretty. I don't want to riffle shuffle these. I'm scared of ruining them.
I didn't see Cobalt pass yet, so I'm like, it's Cobalt without Cobalt. He dropped it for Andromeda.
Oh, and there goes the camera. Sorry, I didn't talk at all there. So the camera just fell, and then they asked me to fix it and stuff. I had to go fix it. My tripod setup is pretty good, to be honest. It's just like 6 battle deck boxes stacked up on top of each other, and then my tripod on top of that, and then my iPhone, of course, on that. And then they're trying to fix it. Well, Alex was trying to fix it. A Shadow, he went there with me. And he's like, Corey, fix it. I can't do it.
What's the ruling on the second round? Like, whoever wins the first round...
Then he's asking, what's the ruling on second round? If you win the first round, what happens? And I'm like, what do you mean? Every round you roll the dice at the start. He's like, wait, really? I'm like, no, wait. He meant to say game instead of round. There's a huge difference between round and game. So.
Oh man, like Corey,
If they roll the dice again, I hope this didn't...
Oh, you rolled?
No. Oh, that. Oh, wait. Okay, well, No.
Second game. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Second game de loser.
It's always a loser.
So I'm just listening into the conversation here, I'm sorry, but they're just like... We were all confused about what the heck Zhao was talking about. He's like, what's the ruling on second round? Do you roll the dice on second round? I'm like, well, yeah, it's a new round. And they're like, what? Okay. And then they roll the die. And I'm like, no, game, second game.
Model is nothing.
So, Grudge Weaver hits the field. He has a bottle on the left over there. So yeah, the decks, these 2 decks are very, very interesting. Hooded Man on the left here, actually, he went on to get first place. Very interesting. So he's running Lightwire Dark Cobalt with bottles. He didn't see Cobalt yet, but he has Cobalt in there. He has the standard lineup of 2 Cobalt, 1 Halon. And I believe he's running the typical 3 Chasm, 3 Blinder, and then 1 Andromeda. Just there to be Andromeda. I'm kind of curious as to why he didn't run Canyon Skimmers. Maybe he just didn't have any on hand. He just has the rares for some reason.
So soon.
In the background, you hear my first round opponent. He didn't want to get filmed, so that's why I didn't film myself this round. But he was like really complaining about my deck and how I just swarmed the field with a bunch of dragons and birds. He's just like, oh, what the heck? I'm drawing like crap. And he just like goes away. But that was a very interesting round I had against him. He beat me quick in the first game, and then I just somehow bounced back and won the next two, and I won my first round. But anyways, back to here. Oh, he's running Rusalka. I lied. He is running cards outside of Dragon Strike Infernus. Hopefully he didn't just like side deck and cheat there, but he did it. I'm pretty sure. I'm just joking. So I was right. He did use the Sonic Blast deck. He took some cards from there, and yeah, and then he just mixed in a bunch of Dragon Strike cards. So he taps, plays Chasm. I'm not sure what he hit or what happened there. How did he tap that creature?
Rumble Gate.
I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. But he has 2 Return for Beyonds, a bottle, and I think a Storm Spark in the mana. And is that a Necro Dragon? Vile Ichor on the bottom? I think it is. So there's that too. Oh, he played Bottle. Uh-oh. Here comes Bottle. Bottle into Andromeda. Oh, Ryan. Oh, man. And yeah, I did the same thing in my first round, but not Orion. I bottled into Andromeda, and that pretty much won me the game against Rush. I was running, yeah, the bottle deck, and like he was using like mono fire, Drakon, and dragons. It was just like a bunch of fire stuff, and that was very scary. But Andromeda saved the day. So he plays Trial and Error. He's gonna draw. I don't know what to say about Trial and Error. Trial and Error is a very interesting card. I think it's really good, actually. Like, especially if you're using Keeper of Dawn, it's like super good. Because you draw 3 and then discard 1. You could discard a spell, or in the case of my deck, I would discard a Firebird or like a Squeaky or something, and then I could just bring it back with Draco Thing later. So he plays a Trial and Error and passes, and he's kind of staring down like very big things. Orion and 2 Chasms. And 2 Chasms are actually big because he could just instantly drop a Cobalt or a Halon right now. And there's a Cobalt. Gets another shield. Puts it sideways like the way he should be doing. So he attacks with Orion first because he figures, well, he has no creatures. And Spectre Claw. So he's got Spectre Claw from Sonic Blast as well, I guess. But he has no cards in hand, so Spectre Claw was just pointless there. So he attacks with the Cobalt, hits nothing, and passes. So this game is looking pretty much done. And it's going to be the match, I think. He's also got Devouring Smog there in mana. I knew he had Devouring Smog. If he's going to be using Dragon Strike and Mixed, he's got to use Devouring Smog. It's basically the Terror Pit of the set, even though it's not really a Terror Pit. It's more like a Death Smoke that your opponent chooses, but it's a Shield Blast. Devouring Smoke is actually like really, it's pretty good. I honestly think it's really good. It's definitely good when you're using control and you need more Terror Pits. You're just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna use 1 or 2 more. In the deck I used, I ran 3. My deck was basically almost exact copy of Drummer JMM's Lightwater Dark Birds and Bottles. That's what I like to call it. I didn't really have a deck prepared, and I had very minimal testing, and apparently he tested it a lot, and I play tested it Saturday at the set premiere, which was really fun, by the way. There were actually a lot of people there playing the game and using the sample decks, and I gave some packs out to people to get their collection a bit bigger. We all got promos and stuff, and yeah, I tested the Birds and Bottles deck, and I didn't lose a single match. I think I went like 3-0 with that deck there, and I'm like, okay, I guess this is the deck I'm using. And I'm gonna be posting pictures later on like some of the fields I've had with that deck. It's just hilarious what you could do with that deck. I didn't take the picture. Felix was there, and I was playing Alex, and I just had this humongous field, and then I show my hand. I have like a Terrapit and an Andromeda there with like 5 birds on the field. Yeah, it was really hilarious. Alright, so now the guy on the right is just hanging on for dear life. He plays blockers galore. No, that's a Rotworm evolution. He can't play that, but he wishes he can. So he plays 2 blockers, which is so we got Coral Claw here and Mana Warden and Tooth Grubbling. The Mana Warden will search him out another Mana Warden, and the Coral Claw will net him a draw. He blocks with that. So he plays Dark Scared Orbital, breaks that shield, and he could go for game. I don't see why not. He has the Rotworm, which is not strong enough to get rid of anything on his field except for trading with the Dark Scared Orbital. So he blocks with Coral Claw and draws, and then he attacks with Orion. He blocks with Mana Warden, and I hope he searches this time. But now he reads the card, and I'm like, oh, I could have done that last game. What am I doing? And he doesn't do it again. Why? If he only has 1, then I guess I understand. Or if he has them all in his hand or mana, but you should at least try to see if you have it or not. So he's counting his mana. He could play the Rotworm Evo, but that's not going to be enough.
Il a joué 3 Terrapit, 3 Boomblade dans un game.
I'm not drawing any dragons. C'est juste des dragons qui restent.
I hear people talking in the background. He's like, wow, this guy just played 3 Terrapits and 3 Boomblades in 1 game. And I believe that was Alex who did that. He plays the Necro Dragon. He has another Necro Dragon. He just summons it. And then, just to put salt in the wound, he plays... What is that? I honestly don't know what card he just played there. And he had... okay shields, I guess. He had memory. Not too much going on there. But yeah, that's pretty much the match. 2-0 for Joao. I mean, the guy on the right did well. He did the best that he could, but next time when you enter a tournament, you probably don't want to run a deck like that. But I mean, of course, if you want to play for fun, there's definitely nothing wrong with that. So if you're having fun, that's all that matters. But if you want to win, don't just run a starter deck with Dragon Strike cards thrown in. But yeah, of course, you got the handshake. Can't forget the handshake. Good games. And so yeah, Joao went on to win and get first place with that deck. And the next 3 rounds, you will see me every single time. The next 2 matches will probably not be narrated, and the last one will be. So stay tuned for those games. And by the way, all 3 bottle decks are 1-0. Alright guys, this is TKC. See you later.